What happened to Israel after they were destroyed by General Titus, commander of the Roman army? Now that we've established that the Israelites are in fact the Hyksos dynasty that migrated into Kemet/Egypt, and their exodus was in fact the war between the Hyksos and the Cometian/Egyptian 17th through 18th dynasties. They were expelled from Kemet/Egypt for illegally occupying it by the pharaohs Seqenenre, Tau, Kamose, Ahmose I, and Thutmose III, and pushed into Canaan. Now let's ascertain what happened after the Hyksos were pushed into Canaan. Here's a quote from Manethos, the Kemetic/Egyptian historian, about the Hyksos exodus from Kemet/Egypt. After the conclusion of the treaty, they left with their families and cattle, not fewer than 240,000 people, and crossed the desert into Syria. Fearing the Assyrians, who dominated over Asia at that time, they built a city in the country which we now call Judea. It was large enough to contain this great number of men and was called Jerusalem. Archaeological evidence found in Tel Habua of bodies with battle wounds showing a great battle in Tijara and Avaris, the Hyksos capital, which signifies that Pharaoh Ahmose I defeated the Hyksos there, and also laid to waste their capital Avaris, and discovered that there was a daybook written on papyrus and grain silos to feed troops. After the Hyksos expulsion from Kemet/Egypt, they wandered the desert before establishing Israel and Judah. During the time period of the Hyksos/Israelite exodus to the establishment of Israel and Judah, which is 1300 BCE to 975 BCE, the Hyksos were referred to as Heberu, and came in contact with Canaanites, Hittites, Philistines, and other Mesopotamian tribes from the first time since leaving Kemet/Egypt. They fought many battles and had to win Canaan from the Canaanites and the Philistines, and eventually they were victorious, establishing Israel in the north and Judah in the south in 975 BCE. In Israel in the north were the tribes of Dan, Reuben, Simon, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Issachar, Zebulun, and Joseph. Judah in the south was where Judah and Benjamin and Levi were, followed by the Levites, who were expelled by Israel by King Jeroboam. Israel lasted for 254 years from 975 BCE until 721 BCE, when it fell to Assyria. Eventually, Assyria fell to the Babylonians and the Israelites with them. When Judah split from Israel by following David south, they set up Judah as a separate city with David as their king. Eventually, Benjamin and Levi followed. The city of Judah under David's dynasty and lineage lasted from 975 to 536 BCE. They were eventually taken over by King Nebuchadnezzar in 536 BCE when he destroyed Solomon's temple for the first time. The Hyksos/Israelites/Judahites would remain under the perpetual rule of other nations when Rome became the major power in the region from the Macedonians, Persians, Greeks, and Seleucids. They established rule over what they named Judea and appointed Herod king in 337 BCE. After Herod's death, a full-scale revolt erupted in 66 CE, and in 70 CE, Roman General Titus entered Jerusalem with a superior military force, destroying Solomon's temple for the second time, murdering 1 million Judahites and taking captive thousands. The rest fled into North and West Africa and Arabia. Here is what I want to cover. North African Jews, or the Maghreb, today are genetically more compatible to Jews from other parts of the world than other North Africans. This is not only because the Judahites fled into North Africa to flee Titus, but because the Egyptian pharaoh Ptolemy I, Soter, displaced Judahites into Tunisia in 312 BCE as well. The Falashas in Ethiopia were converted to Judaism by Jews who fled into Arabia and East Africa after Jerusalem was destroyed in 70 CE. They speak Ge'ez and practice the oldest form of Judaism in the world. Ethiopian Jews are distantly related to North African, Middle Eastern, and European Jews genetically, proving that they were converted to Judaism and not descended from King Solomon in their belief that he fathered a child with the queen of Abyssinia named Sheba. This is what happened to the tribe of Israel. This is who they are today, and why they are scattered and amount to an amalgamate of nations from Europe to Middle Eastern to Africa. Thank you. What happened to Israel?